Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to ATI ProMedia. We're powered by advanced trading. Show's building itself. We're going to give you today's news today. Facts, not feelings. Last night, we went live on the Trump conviction news. That's out there. If you just look at our YouTube channel, we had a conversation, myself and Connor. Of course, we're not lawyers, and we don't even play them on TV. But I did once stay at a Holiday Inn. We talked about it. We talked about the market's reaction, whether it was our grains up because of this, is the stock market down because of that. And we noted where the markets were, and last night grains were up and stocks were down. And now again, we're almost exactly where we were last night. Stocks were down a little bit more. So moving forward, as I explained it to a young neighbor, she's 15, she said, "Is this a big deal?" I said, if you're not going to drink a Coca-Cola tomorrow and I'm not going to shave, it's really going to affect Warren Buffett and that stock. But business goes on as normal. A lot of people have made a lot of money the last few years. And many people say the poor have gotten poorer. Sure, America's changing, but it always has. That's why it's America. And if you don't understand that, go take a history course. All right, bring them in. Connor B., welcome to the show.
Good morning, Tommy.
How'd you do in history? How'd you do in history?
I'm pretty, if it was history I was interested in, I was pretty dang good. So if you ever hit me with the World War II question, I like my odds of getting it. If it wasn't interesting to me, I didn't necessarily pay attention.
You know who did some of my homework for in high school? Paul Marie out there watching. Mom and Dad watch the show every day. My mom says she has coffee and watches us, and she says, "You guys are getting better." She never tells me how I'm doing, but you guys are getting better. All right, with that, we did that live Trump show last night. I don't want to spend much time on it today because really we deal with corn, beans, wheat, interest rates, all that stuff, and we still have to deal with that today. Like, regardless of who wins the election, we're going to be commodity brokers. We're going to be live streaming, and we have to move forward. And I think Michael Jordan said it best. He said they really wanted Michael Jordan when he was young and up and coming to get really political and back a certain candidate from where he grew up. And Michael Jordan looked right in the camera and said, even Republicans buy shoes. So, and you know what? He made a couple $2 billion from selling Nike shoes. So we're here to help people and educate people in any way we can. You're entitled to your opinion. Heck, you can even call. Funny story about calling. Tom Barry had a client, and Tom Barry sends out a beautiful email every morning. And Tom Barry had his client forwarded his message to a non-client, and the non-client called in and yelled at Tom Barry for 10 minutes. And then Tom realized, like, you don't even have an account with me. And he pretty much told him the markets were going to explode. This is quote from a non-advanced client. Of course, I'll do his commission for free, and I'd gladly buy him as many futures as he wants. My thought was he'll buy zero. He got a lot of this, but he's going to buy zero. Some people just like to talk. And you know what? Thank God for the internet, because as Mr. Rick says, never argue with folks who buy ink by the barrel. Back to you, my friend.
Well said. Well said. I don't know how to follow that up, but we had fun yesterday going live, talking about the Trump indictment, but marketing wise, conviction.
Move forward, young man. First president ever.
If you didn't know I wasn't a lawyer, you do now. But yes, marketing wise, right? It's still, he's going to appeal. He can still run for president. So was it a historic moment? Yes, it's the first president ever to be convicted. But marketing wise, what does it mean if we're looking at corn, soybeans, wheat? Time will tell, right? Markets were up and we're fading pretty good. I don't know if you took us down to LaSalle Street, Tommy, but
let's go to LaSalle Street. Brother Joe, take us for a ride.
Quote us up.
Quote us up. Down to LaSalle Street. July corn up 1. No, July soybeans up 9. No, soybeans up 6. Border trade wheat up 3. Casey up 6. Hard red spring up 3. Cattle down 50. Feeders down 100. Hogs up a little bit. Let's go to LaSalle. Let's go to Wall Street. Gold up a little. Silver down. Interest rates coming back, going back down. Interest rates had a really bad day where interest rates exploded, calming down. Interest rates probably about unchanged on the week. Crude oil down 10 cents. Natural gas lower. Dow Jones up 30. NASDAQ down 70. S&P unchanged. Bitcoin doing Bitcoin things, down 1,000. How wild. Did you say, oh, Bitcoin's down 1,000? No big deal. Of course, meal and oil are up today. Dr. Copper down a little. Back to the show, my friend.
Yeah. So, and well off the highs. Look, I mean, corn looked pretty positive. We had an ugly day yesterday. We're kind of fading right now. We'll see where we are at the end of the show. But a couple things I wanted to look at, Tommy, is weather. Let's touch base on what that GFS is showing us. And then also Not a fun topic right now, but I think we need to talk about soybean exports and how abysmal they are. And so, first thing I have, Joe, go ahead and I'll pop it up, Joe. Looking at weather and just the GFS model. As Brady, I think Brady sent us yesterday, he got an inch of rain over in Kansas. But looking out the next 14 days, right now, the GFS is pretty non-threatening. We've got a lot of precip in the next weekend in areas that really need to get planted. So we'll continue to look at what's that prevent plant number going to be. Or are we going to get that last little bit, that last, 20%, Tommy?
A little less, yeah.
Yeah. But
it's getting squishy out there. It's getting squishy. People who thought they'd be going this week, next week may not be going for a few weeks. So really keep an eye on that corn bean ratio. Things can change, but right now all the grains have a positive tone. Real quick note, 5/31/2024. Today is the last day of May. We'll have end of May trading, end of month type of squaring up with the big funds. Then we trade a whole new dynamic. So keep an eye on where we open Sunday night. We'll probably have nothing to do with where we close Monday as those funds get in and out. And let me tell you something, they have a lot more money than all of us.
Yeah, well said. But anyway, sum up the GFS, non-threatening stuff that's in the ground. Weather looks pretty good so far for the first half of June. What looked real ugly, and it's not, I look at this as holy crap, we are super dry in Brazil. It's not unexpected, Tommy. We know there's a dry season. Dr. Cesar Cruz talks about this a lot, but it's still a little questioning. The heat came a little bit early. The rain shut off a little bit earlier than expected. Brazil's dry right now, right? And so the question's going to be, did they get enough precipitation? Are the genetics good enough that this crop's going to finish decent to pretty good? Or is this heat going to affect it? We'll know a lot more once they start harvesting that. They've started harvesting some safrinha corn crop, but it's the real early stuff. We're still a few weeks out before we see that. But right now, very dry in central northern Brazil.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have Dr. Cesar Cruz on next week,
Definitely.
get that South American update. Yeah. And wheat's doing wheat things. It really pulled back. It's coming back. We have a lot of interesting things going on. One of my best clients called this morning. He said, with all the stuff happening in the world, you'd think grains would act better, and they're not. I said, don't forget how much old crop we have. There's no production risk to the old crop. There's production risk to the new crop. And sometimes it takes months and months to trade that information. Like, you may know it and you may buy an option and 2-3 months later it expires. I said, you got to go out. If you have a long-term opinion, you really need to be out there, and you can't let that time work against you. There are absolute professionals out there who understand the time value of options, and they're getting in and out of them. And he likes to hedge, and he had an opinion. He thought the market might go higher. And most farmers do try to come up with a reason why the markets go higher. But in the end, their risk is that they go lower. So I'm up for anything. I am always interested in learning from people, whether it be clients, advanced trading, customers of ATI ProMedia, whatever. But that doesn't mean they're right. Because you have an opinion doesn't mean you're right.
Yep. Goes for us too, right, Tommy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like we said last night when we were live streaming during the thing, is if we were so smart, we wouldn't be live streaming at 9 at night. We'd be in bed, right? And but boy, was the internet wild yesterday. When that news broke, there's several new live streamers who, whether it be we can go through all the names, doesn't matter. Anyone who could hit play went live with an opinion, which is interesting because it probably really takes away from traditional media. Traditional media is going through a painful change. First print is pretty much going away. You may get it, but I have a burn barrel in the backyard, and as fast as it comes in the mailbox, it goes in the barrel. I don't know why my neighbors don't complain I'm burning stuff in the neighborhood, but I do it late at night, right? Kind of like, well, no, I'm not going to say it, but sometimes people spray late at night, as Brady knows. He knows where I was going with that, but I don't want to offend anyone. All right, what do we got? Any other charts, graphs? Yes, sir.
I got a few more, but let's do a quick break. Let's pull that up later. Tell us about premium.
Yesterday's premium. Yeah. Some days are better than others. This one was incredible. I could have talked to Sean. Sean Haney is the president, CEO, and founder of Real Agriculture. If you don't know who the heck or what the heck Real Agriculture is, you should go on their YouTube channel right there, www.realagriculture. Sean is an absolute gem, someone I've looked up to forever. When I spend time at RFD TV, I see him pop on the XM channel. Real Agriculture has a daily show. I bet you there's a lot of people out there who listen to Real Agriculture might not have realized he's based out of Canada. While we're talking, I Googled, how far are you from my house? He's like 1,800 miles from here, 1,600 miles. He's like 2.5 miles north of a city in Montana. But he started in the media business. He kind of wanted to be a sports journalist and became an ag journalist. And he owns the company. He's got a great crew. If you go on their website, you can subscribe. It's free. You could look at Western North Dakota, Eastern, or not North Dakota, Eastern Canada, Western Canada. And he really said there's like 13 Canadas. I mean, how they do business in farming and agriculture in Quebec is totally different than how they might do it in his province. But a fascinating, great partner here now to Advanced Trading, ATI ProMedia. You'll only see him on the premium edition, Real Agriculture. Not just Sean, but his team. He had an interesting background, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. Sports broadcasting going into that.
And then he's grown it tremendously. We will meet him if you go to the big Farm Progress show. He'll be there, and he pops into America about 6-7 times a year. But American farmers need to know what's going on in Canada. Canadian farmers need to know what's going on here in America, and they're still one of our longest, best partners ever. So, back to you, sir.
Yeah. So, last thing I wanted to talk about, and then we can answer any questions, but is looking at these soybean exports. So, Tommy, I think you know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you know how many new crop soybean exports we have on the books going to China for 2024?
Hold on.
You phoned in a friend.
Zero.
Goose egg.
Zero.
Goose egg.
I like better on this here. Z? It has no cord, just for the record. It has no cord. Zero.
The new crop soybean sales we are getting into very close to the worst new crop sale export book in the 21st century, Tommy. As you can see, 2024, we're at 35 million bushel, a little bit more than 2005. Joe said, what was the soybean price in 2005? What was it, Joe? Wasn't it? It was a little bit over $6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little over $6 a bushel. So abysmal soybean sales, and China is absolutely not coming to the market. So what we need to be hopeful for is that we'll see them in the last half of the year come on really strong, right? I mentioned 2020. Joe was quick to mention that that was a COVID year, and you can't really compare what happened in 2020 to now. But we saw China come in at the last half of the year in record fashion. So if you're going to be a soybean bull, we need to see that export demand, and we want to see it come on the books very quickly. So looking at everything, I have this pop up in terms of exports from Reuters, Karen Braun. And just, you can look at this and just say, soybeans, soy meal, soy oil, the whole soy complex. We are very much behind on net export sales compared to previous years in 23, 24. Corn isn't looking very good either. So we need to be hopeful that export sales will come back, right? We need something to fuel the bulls that we can see. But that's my takeaway from this is soybean exports are very much lagging in the lowest we've seen in close to 20 years, Tommy.
It's interesting. And this isn't a secret, but we still need to talk about it. Speaking of talking, if you want to give us a call, check this out. You can call me on the red phone, 1-855-737-FARM, 1-855-737-FARM. Tom, I hooked up the cord.
I was going to say, is that a working phone?
It is. The other half's here. And it really works. And if you Google on Amazon red phone, they're about $50, and it works well. It looks great on the desk too. You're like, who's that go to? My wife, right? So she could yell at me directly on the red phone. What a week. I'm glad it's over. Well, it's not quite over yet, but end of the month. I want to keep saying end of the quarter. It's not. We've had some volatility in cattle. People are desperate for headlines, whether it was the news last night politically, whether it's bird flu, whatever. As you get in the media, and you know this now, we're probably on our 140th episode live, and we did 20, 30 before that. But you like a story, right? When we get down here at 8:30 and we start talking about the show and we don't have a lot to talk about, we want something to talk about. Kind of like in You Want Me on That Wall. Remember that movie?
Few Good Men.
Me on that wall. Yeah, Few Good Men.
Great movie.
You Want Me on That Wall.
Yeah.
But you're right. I feel clicks, clickbait, and we look at how many people watched our video. There's 175 watching live. There's 500 replays. How many people subscribe to this? And at some point, you just have to tell the truth, or at least your version of the truth, and that's what we try to do every day.
Yep.
Break it down with comments, then we'll talk about your meeting. Connor Bridgman Customer Appreciation Day. Folks within a few hundred miles, if you want to make the ride, you can. But let's get these comments, and then let's get out of here.
Yep, pull them up, Joe. Called to one of my local poultry feed mill this morning out of curiosity. $5 corn, $3.75 wheat last year. Last year, same mill was paying same as the board for feed wheat. Sounds like he doesn't even want any. $3.75 wheat. That's a heck of a basis, Luke. And then $5 corn. That's probably right. That's about a 50 if you're looking at July, a 50 over basis. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's probably pretty typical for North Carolina.
Yeah, that wheat, I might drive down there and go pick some up in my station wagon and bring it back. I don't know if that was for a half bushel price or a full bushel price. Brady Huck, I know him. I'm so done with May. I wrote June 1st on today's morning comments I sent out. Way to go, Brady. Yeah, it's interesting. This year's flying by. Any more questions, comments, drop them in real quick before we get to that. Joe, pop up about Connor B's meeting. We're going to go ahead, Connor.
Yeah. June 13th, and I appreciate Tommy calling it Connor's meeting because you're going to be there too. But we're going to do June 13th at headquarters in Bloomington. We're going to do a live taping of ATI ProMedia. First time we're doing this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want to come watch us live, ask questions live, feel free to shoot us an email, give us a call. We're going to do breakfast before film the ATI ProMedia, and then we got a nice lineup of speakers, some roundtable discussions, and lunch afterwards. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, you should be. And interesting who shows up to these things. I had a client, he said, I'll make the drive. It's 2.5 hours away. I'm like, really? But people want to be with people. Farmers spend a lot of time in the cab here during planning, and they want to see, they're going to get to come down to Advanced Trading Commercial Department, Advanced Trading Farmer Market, get a tour of both. Go to one of the largest trading floors of watching commercial grain trade. There's nothing like our trading floor in America. I mean, maybe you can go up to Cargill, but Cargill's owned by Cargill, right? Advanced Trading's owned by us. So if you want to meet the owners, you want a tour of the commercial department, the farmer marketing department, and of course, we're looking for more help. We need younger brokers. We have experienced brokers, but I'm becoming what's considered older, right? We need more Connor B's. We need more Brady Hucks. We need more Kayla's. And hopefully we'll get people who are interested in working with us, not only on a professional side from Futures and Options and ATI ProMedia, but we're interested in meeting more great qualified people in all our departments at Advanced Trading. All right, Connor B, anything else?
Nope. I think we covered it. Markets, we're hovering right at positive on corn. Beans still at that 5.6 that you quoted beginning of the show. So we'll see what the follow through is. And as like you said, a new month, we're going to be completely new information. June's a big month for commodities, right? We got a lot of big acreage reports. Weather is going to be a big factor. So I don't think we'll be short of topics in the commodities landscape for June, July, Tommy.
No, not a lot. And it's getting more comfortable doing this show. What else? There was something else I wanted to share with everyone. Tomorrow's premium is Justin Ader. Remember what we talked about? Or Brady knows what that show was. But Justin's going to be tomorrow, and we're going to talk about, hey, folks, if you have November options on, they expire October 25th. The election, whatever becomes of it, is November 5th. And so we're going to talk about why you should think in that Jan timeframe and give you solutions, not sarcasm. That is, that's today's premium. And then Saturday's premium, Mr. Don Wick usually finishes up, and he's going to have a lot to talk about politically, the Farm Bill, all that rain in North Dakota. Starting to see us produce a lot more exclusive content on that. We're one video short. We have to give them 6 a week. I'm going to do a week in review also as we look into June, and we'll get that out to folks Saturday. So with that, any other questions or comments? I see something else popped up.
Flour mill in Charlotte, 20 over. for quality history.
Luke, you got to take that 375 wheat, load it up, and bring it to the other place, and that's called
Merchandising
Trade
101.
Merchandising 101. With that, Connor B sipping on the coffee. Time to get to work. Hey, real quick follow up on the markets. Corn's only up 3/4. That rally was sold. Stock market selling off. Folks, if you have any questions, comments, good, bad, and different, we'll take them all. We appreciate you listening to the live show. We appreciate you subscribing. 1-855-737-FARM, info at ATI ProMedia. If you can join us in Bloomington on June 13th, that'd be awesome. But if you want to join us 6 days a week on educational videos, go to www.atipromedia. Subscribe, $30 a month, $1 a day. And with that, Gina G wants to give a little closing thing. Next week, breaking news. We got some new good stuff coming up as this channel continues to grow. See you, buddy.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.